I guess I also had expectations that, of a place, somewhere I wanted to be, or somewhere maybe the organization would be by now. And you start to get tired, you start to get disappointed, I guess, when things maybe don't happen the way that you want to. Hey everybody, what's up? Today's Wednesday, July 10th, and I'm here at the City Fam offices, just finishing up a work day, and gonna jump right into it. I actually missed last week, just kind of the week got away from me, and I just really wasn't in the mood any day to make a vlog, so I didn't do it. But I'm doing it today, so I'm gonna catch you guys up on everything. So I mentioned in a previous vlog that just been going through a little bit of a rough season. I don't know, it's just it's a strange kind of dynamic where lots of good stuff happening around me, or at least starting to, but personally feeling kind of burnt out. And I guess I've been grinding for a long time. I really disciplined myself a lot the last 8 years, and it's been great. It's obviously been great for me, produced a lot, helped a lot of people. It's helped me a lot. But I guess I also had expectations that, of a place, somewhere I wanted to be, or somewhere maybe the organization would be by now. And you start to get tired, you start to get disappointed, I guess, when things maybe don't happen the way that you want to. So, I've actually started. I was drinking for about a month ago. I started drinking again by myself at home. Not a lot, but I was, I was just coming home, and I guess I was depressed, and I know I can't drink around people based on the last mistake that I made, but I had some drinks by myself, and it kind of turned into a habit for about 3 weeks straight, where I was having regular few glasses of wine when I went home, watched TV for an hour or whatever, and I was starting to get undisciplined in my life because I wasn't going to bed as early as I was used to, so I wasn't getting up as early as I needed to in order to make it to the gym for 5:45 workouts. Or if I did get up early, I was tired because I didn't sleep enough, and then I wasn't performing at my best level. So this went on for about 3 weeks, and even though it probably made me feel a little bit better at night because it gave me something, I was struggling in other places because I guess I just didn't. I knew I wasn't performing at my peak level, and I see all these good things now starting to happen, and I'm like, okay, there's the finish line, and my knees are like wobbling, and I'm wondering, can I even get there anymore? And so I talked to Pastor Chris and Lori about it. I mean, the good news is nothing happened. I didn't make any mistakes. It was just me kind of got off track and kind of wasn't living up to the expectations that I set for myself. So I talked to Pastor Chris, talked to Lori about it, talked to Billy about it, and just was like, I need to shine some light on it because nobody really knew. It was just me doing it by myself when I went home. And so for the last week, there was only 2 nights that I had anything. And it was just one each night. But I don't know. I'm just trying to be transparent, to be honest. Just talking about it because I know there's people out there that probably struggle with the same things. I was sober for 6.5 years straight, and then life got hard, and I self-medicated, made a mistake with a girl, and then now I'm like, okay, I still got that boundary where I'm not wanting, knowing that I can't consume alcohol around people, but was wanting to give myself something. And it's like, I don't know, I guess I've worked, it was like my body was kind of involuntarily, or my soul or something was involuntarily like rebelling a little bit, where I was like, it was saying, I don't want to work this hard anymore, and I'm trying to force myself, beat myself into submission, and wasn't able to do it. Like when I came home, I wanted a drink or drinks, because I was like, you've worked really hard and you deserve it. And that was like this voice, I guess, that was kind of going on in my head. And again, it was causing me to kind of be off my best in other areas. So like, again, throughout my day when I really needed to perform at a peak level. So fortunately I was able to talk to them about it and shine some light on it and get it under control, because I really don't want alcohol as part of my life. You know, not to say that I may drink again, you know, like when I get married or whatever, maybe it's a little safer for me, but I don't really want it as part of my life. It doesn't really add any value to it, but I do relate to people that, you know, use it to numb the pain sometimes. So I'm really just trying to get my work-life balance a little bit better, you know, because I do work a lot, and I think that that's what leads to me being depressed sometimes. And, you know, like I'm playing softball, we have a City Fam softball team, and obviously I do stuff with my friends, but sometimes the group stuff really just doesn't fill that void, you know, because you have a void, you have a desire for another person romantically, and that is what I want. And then knowing that there's no one in sight, you know, and I'm not even dating anyone, so it's like, it might be a while, you know, and that sometimes is hard, you know, to swallow. But I'm completely surrendered to God's will. Like, and for me, it's He's got to tell me when, you know, when to date and who to date, you know, not just when, but who. I mean, not just who, but when. A lot of people say, well, you know, who, definitely who, but also when, because I don't know when, you know, like I think I'm ready now, but maybe I'm not. Maybe God wants me to, you know, create this worldwide Why Waiting Works movement that's already started. I mean, if you look at the map, there's literally people all over the world in every country, or not every country, but a lot of countries, just about I think every continent, as part of this movement. And you know, maybe I'm supposed to be single to do it. I don't know, you know, but I do know that I'm in tune with Him. I spend time with Him every day, and He hasn't told me if He hasn't brought anybody into my life to date. And I am not actively out there looking, but I'm out there. You know, I'm on social media, and I go to, like, you know, City Fam events where there's plenty of single people, and even now single Christian events I'm speaking at. So, like, you know, I don't know. I'm out there enough that I could meet her if He wanted me to. You know, I'm not like sheltering myself. So, anyway, I did order some. I was on Amazon the other day, and I ordered some CBD gummies and some kava just to give myself something, because it's nice to have something as like a treat to kind of take the edge off when you're stressed out. But yeah, that's it. That's really what I've been going through. And you know, it's funny because when I was trying to get back on track, I really kept hearing embrace discipline. Like, that's what I need to do, is I need to embrace discipline. And I have embraced discipline for a long time. But lately, it was just it was becoming increasingly harder to do what I had done for all those years before. And I heard a quote today. It said, "Consistency is the tunnel to greatness," and it's really true. You know, like you have to consistently grind. You know, for me, it's like I got to get to bed. I got to get to bed by 10 o'clock. And I got to get up around 4 or 4:30 so I can do my quiet time, so I can make it to the gym early, so I can be in the office at 7:30. I can get some work done before anybody gets here, because in the quiet I'm able to do some things that I can't do when people are here. And then I need to work, you know, from 9 until whenever. And then I need to make sure that I am spending some time with friends and family, and maybe doing a little life coaching in there, probably do a little volunteering. And if I do all those things consistently, everything is good, you know, but that's a big if, you know, like to maintain that consistency day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and just to keep doing it it can be challenging, you know, especially when the results don't come, you know, or they're delayed, you know, which was what my challenge was, because it was like, not only do I not have a lot of money, and I'm not having sex, now I'm not even getting enjoyment out of my work because it's not progressing, you know, at the rate that I thought it was. But I do see a lot. That's what I was, you know, feeling. But I do see a lot of progress now. You know, we got Houston jumping off. Actually, the chapter lead from down there is coming into Baltimore next week and helping us refine our systems for these new chapters. And we're really gonna just be able to put CityFam in a nice, neat little box that we can give to other people when they start it. Because we've had inquiries from all over the world about people that want to start one, but our process wasn't great, and we really hadn't figured out how to monetize it. Because if we had, if both of those things were in place, then they would have started. And of course, that would have been great for us because that would have provided revenue, which would have put gas in our tank. So that's really kind of where we're at now. I'm kind of wrestling with like, do we just focus on getting our chapter, our processes airtight so that we can help these new chapters jump off and use that as our main revenue source? Or there's another way we can go, because we went to Innovation Works a couple weeks ago, and they were like, hey, look, you guys got to quantify your impact. You got to measure what difference you're making for the people that attend your events. Because I see people get sober all the time that come through CityFam. I see people, break up with a crappy girlfriend or boyfriend that they may have impregnated, and that's someone that they weren't going to be with long term, which would have been bad for at least the kid, because there's lots of studies on single parent homes, fatherless homes, and what that does to the kids. Somebody has to pay for that, like taxpayers. So there's a way that we can quantify it, and we could probably start getting grant money. It'll take time, but the other part of me just wants to say, you know what, screw it. We've already asked for help a lot. Let's just go do it ourselves, because I feel like once we get our processes tight, we'll just start new chapters in other places, and that'll be our main revenue source, and we won't need outside help. Part of me wants to just kind of go that route, because either way, both of them are going to take time. And that is one of our, that's a precious resource for us. We only have a little bit. We have time and we have a little bit of money, so where we put it, it matters. So we're thinking, I don't know what we're gonna do. We may try to do both, but I'm praying about, I'm thinking like maybe God just doesn't want us to get help from outside sources, because we've asked a lot of people and we haven't gotten it. So at some point you're like, we're just gonna do it ourselves. So I wanted to say, I took some notes here. We wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Back to what I said with the alcohol. When I said I didn't want it as part of my life. For me, the main thing is I don't want anything that causes me to sin. That's the main thing. If it doesn't cause me to sin, like, I've had people say, oh, you shouldn't have kratom. And I'm like, why? It doesn't affect me negatively at all. Like sometimes it's nice just to have a cup of that tea, and it kind of takes the edge off. Alcohol used to cause me to sin, specifically with women, which is why I had to remove it from my life. But for me, the main reason that I say I don't want it as part of my life is I don't want it as part of my life because it's too risky. I need to stay in the center of God's will, and for me that means obedience. It means complete obedience to Him, so that I can hear from Him and He can tell me what to do, because the vision that He gave me is so freaking big. Like there's no way that I can build it on my own. And if I start sinning, becoming disobedient, then everything goes out the window, and He's not gonna give me the direction that I need to build this thing. So that for me is the main motivator to keep it out of my life. But anyway, I've been getting up early the last week, like I said, getting back into my groove. I was up this morning at 4:30. I was in the gym at 5:45. Been working all day, had a great day, and just getting back on track. So that's really it. But I want to update you guys on some main things that are happening, upcoming events that are happening. So I actually I launched a course about 3 weeks ago called How Waiting Works. So there's a Facebook group called Why Waiting Works Community, and it's basically people that have either read the book or maybe they found my 10 Reasons video on YouTube, and they're waiting for God's best. They're waiting to have sex until they get married, and or like I like to say, they're waiting for love before sex. So there's 1,400 people in this group, and we launched a course, and there's 11 people going through this course. It's a 6-week course, and it really just kind of breaks it down to about how to make the most of your time off, because the season of waiting can be the most productive years of your life. Hopefully not years, hopefully it's weeks or months, but that's probably wishful thinking. But it really can be the most productive season of your life, because you have to do something with that energy, which again is why I work so much, because I've gotten crystal clear on God's vision for my life since I put sex on the altar, on the shelf, and now I can devote a lot of time to that vision, because what's really the point in going home and sitting around by myself, because there's no one there to go home and chill with. So in addition to the fact that just, they talk about seminal retention, it just gives you energy, right? Because it's like life juice. And when you hold it, when you keep it in, you're able to use it and redirect that towards more productive means besides just busting nuts. So the course is going great. One of the weeks we have people work on their vision statement, and a vision statement is basically your ideal life. Lori Lockamy helped me put mine together 8 years ago, seven and a half years ago, I guess, somewhere around there. And it really was the game changer for me, because it helped me see what I want most instead of what I wanted right then. And I had spent a lot of my life pursuing what I wanted in the moment, but not so much pursuing what I wanted most. So once I knew that, it was like, man, it just excited me, it motivated me, and I used to read it every day. And I still visualize. I was still visualizing for ever since I stopped reading it, which was probably about 2 years ago. I stopped reading it. I'm still visualizing, but recently I pulled it out, I updated it, and it's amazing to see, because there's like a lot of things from 7 years ago that was in that vision statement that actually have happened now, like City Fam and how we've launched in other places, and the difference that I've made in the community, and all these different things that I wrote about 7 years ago that weren't reality back then, but now are. So I updated it and kind of set it for like 3 to 5 years in advance, and I've been reading it every day in the mornings again, and it's really a big part of what's helped me get back on track, because if you don't keep the vision crystal clear in front of you, like, it's so easy to get off track. You have to know what it is, first off, which is why I recommend life coaching. And then secondly, you have to believe that it's possible. And once you know what it is and you believe that it's possible, and you just got to focus on it, and don't get distracted, because there's going to be so many things that try to pull you off. Like sometimes, like I said, I just want to sleep in. I don't want to get up early and work all day. Or I want to just do something for my flesh, or it'd be very easy to pull over and settle, but I'm so clear on what I want to do and what I'm building that it's made it possible for me to continue to stay in the fight. So anyway, if you don't have a vision statement for your life, I highly recommend you put one together. There's probably, you could Google on how to do it, but it's just figuring out what excites you, what you're here for. Once you know your purpose, it's just a complete game changer. You can reach out to me. I'd be happy to send mine to you, and you can kind of use it as a template if you like. So middle school makeover, something City Fam's doing at the end of this month on July 27th. We're going to be making over Lakeland Elementary and Middle School. And that Lakeland is actually not far from where I grew up. I grew up in Brooklyn. And there's an elementary middle school over there that's kind of in dire need of a makeover. So we're going to go there, and we're going to take about 75 to 100 volunteers, and we're just going to remodel the whole school. So I'm really excited about it. Just number one, because it's close to where I grew up, but also obviously just for the kids. So if you want to be part of it, if you want to come volunteer with us, I think it's going to be about 3 hours. I think it's 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Saturday the 27th. I'll put the link as a comment on this post after I stop the video. I've been working on my talks for my Romania trip on July 25th, I leave, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow, I leave for Romania for 2 weeks. Pretty excited about it. Actually, that was another big motivator for me to stop drinking, because I'm like, I don't want to leave the country with a drinking habit. You know what I mean? Because I need to be clear while I'm over there. There's not going to be a whole lot of accountability, and I just want to be on my A game. So anyway, I digress. But I'm excited about that trip. I'm excited about the opportunities I'm going to have to speak to some students over there. I'm actually speaking to a group of adults, another organization. And I'm also going to be, when I come back, literally the day after I come back, I'm going to be going to something called the Save Singles Summit in Wilmington, Delaware. And I'm going to be talking about sex, dating, and relationships there. My plan is to take a bus from Baltimore with have room for 22 people to go there, and it'll just be like we'll go up early in the morning, we'll come back that night, and it should be a really great trip. So if you're watching this and you're saved and you're single and you want to join, just drop me a message and you can come with us. Lastly, Bobby, my old business partner, Bobby Dyer, Bobby Goodlife, as some of you know him, we're bringing Genuine to the Horseshoe Casino on Saturday, December 7th. So if you are a Genuine fan, look out for the tickets for that. We'll be putting them up soon. But that's all that's going on in my life, and appreciate you guys. See you.